Hey, what's up? This is Chosen. Happy Thursday, and we are approaching the weekend for Raid Shadow Legends. Now we finally have clarification this morning as to what the 10x is going to be for champions like Stubus Dragonbane, and we have also got the mighty Ukko fragments coming to a close. So I will get you caught up on everything you're going to need as we head into the weekend for Raid. Let's get into it. Alrighty, so first of all, we've got a 10x this weekend, which is perfectly normal, and we knew this was going to be in the rotation of the summoning. So first of all, it is going to be normal rates for the shards. There's no sort of 2x or boost or guaranteed champion or anything. It's just going to be a normal summoning weekend where shards are normal, but there is a slightly increased chance of getting certain champions. Those champions are going to be Laurus the Proud, Stubus Dragonbane, Efrock, Cupidus, and then the epics are going to be Skullcrown, Thalesia, Husk, and Magnar. So now let's quickly touch on each one of these champions and just give you a refresher course on them. So first up is going to be the Void Legendary Laurus the Proud. Now, Laurus is awesome. He's a pretty game-changing champion since he got added to the game, and you see him all over the place in Arena and Tag Team Arena and all sorts of PvP because he's got some mechanics that are going to help him survive and get to the point where he can do damage, and then he also has a passive effect that will increase his damage to insane levels based on the HP that he has lost, and he can be a hardcore, insane nuker damage dealer with some mechanics in place to help him survive and get to the point where he does damage. So Laurus is a great legendary to have on your account, and he is definitely very strong and worth going for in shards typically. But the thing is that this is a 10x. And now 10x's are more impactful for Void champions than non-Void champions for sure. But this isn't some sort of guaranteed summoning event or anything. And, since the Void shards aren't buffed or anything, I don't know that this would be the time to go for him for most of your accounts out there. But Laurus is definitely a strong champion. Then for Stubus Dragonbane, a lot of you may not be familiar with him, so let's quickly go over his kit. We've got an A1 that's a multi-hitter, and as long as they're under any debuff, he's going to lower their turn meter by 10% for each hit. So pretty decent for the A1, lowering turn meter in most situations. He's got an AoE multi-hitter stun. You can book it up to a 65% chance, and a 3-turn cooldown with the multi-hit. Should be pretty consistent AoE stun. And then he's got one of those abilities that does something different based on the stat of what he's attacking. But he is going to do some self-increased defense buffing for 3 turns, which is super nice because he does scale with defense. Then, basically, if an enemy's attack is higher than their defense, he's going to lower their crit damage. And if their attack is equal to or lower than their defense, he's going to place a decreased speed. So if you're going up against a champion that's not a damage dealer, basically, you're going to decrease their speed. If you're going up against a damage dealer, you're going to lower their crit damage. So it kind of makes sense in how it's designed, and it should bring a decent amount of value because it's going to be kind of self-targeting what it needs to place. Then he has a passive of whenever this enemy attempts to place a weakened debuff, a decreased defense debuff, or a poison on the champion, reflect them back to the attacker, and damage increases by 5% for each debuff on the target. And then we've got allied defense in all battles by 30% with some decent base stats here. So in terms of being a damage dealer, tanky type champion, pretty cool. I don't think he's going to be some god tier, S tier, top 10 legendary in the game like Duchess or Kaimar or anything, but he's a solid champion to have for sure. Efrock is also in this 10x, and he's a newer champion that is pretty cool. Can do insane amounts of damage. Can buff himself with attack and crit rate. So you can build this guy with 70% crit rate, enabling him to have extra crit damage. He gets an extra turn for that self-buffing ability. And then he does a nuke that can place an extra hit if they have less than 50% HP after the first one. So he can really get some confirmed kills. He's not going to lower someone to 10% health and not finish them off. If the first hit almost kills them, he's gonna wipe them off the battlefield, and also ignore 15% of the target's defense. So an insane ability there. And then his passive, whenever an ally is killed, he's going to activate his AoE attack that can be a multi-hitter, and it will not put the skill on cooldown. So yeah, Efrock is a very cool and fun damage dealer that can crank out DPS for sure. And the last legendary in this 10X is going to be Cupidus. Now, Cupidus is a legacy champion that a lot of people have a pretty good grasp on, and he's fun. He's got an AoE A1, and he pairs with Venus, and his flame out ability hits super hard, but you know, he's mostly a niche damage dealer that can do decently well in like the Hydra or Faction Wars or something, but not viewed as like an S tier champion. And then we've got 4 epics as part of this 10X as well, and I can be pretty quick going over the epic champion. Skull Crown is a fun epic to have on your account. She's been power crept a little bit. She was a lot better a year or 2 ago, but she's still a decent damage dealer for a Void legendary epic champion. Thylacia for the Knight Revenant is a damage dealer that can also increase the duration of all debuffs on all enemies, which is a good ability for an epic champion to have for sure. Then for the last 2 epics, I think these are pretty solid. Husk is an awesome epic for dealing damage in places like the Hydra because he is going to have an AoE ability that scales with enemy max HP. And then also the last one is going to be Magnar, who is one of the most famous damage dealers that is not a legendary. He's an insane damage dealer even compared to legendaries. He's an HP scaling champion that can hit insanely hard and nuke people down in like a PvP scenario and crank out tons of damage. So pretty solid epics for sure in the 10X. So all in all, my views on the 10X is that the champions are okay. They're pretty solid. Good legendaries like Laurus and legendaries that have a fun role in the game and do cool things. And the epics are very solid. All 4 of them are probably top 20, top 25 epics. So not the worst 10X we've ever seen, but when a 10X is like this and it doesn't coincide with earning fragments towards a fusion or something like that, and the rates are not boosted, it's just normal shards, I'm going to say for most of you that I recommend to hold off and wait until you're double dipping your shards with either increased rates or CVC or some sort of fragments that you are getting to acquire a champion. And now we need to pull up the calendar for Mighty Ukko as we are right here, Thursday the 22nd, and it is what you see is what you get. We have got the last few things live in the champ training and the dragon tournament that coincides with the dungeon divers going on. So if you are close to the finish line, make sure you're focusing on the champ training and then the dragon tournament that will double dip with your dungeon divers so you can scoop up the last few fragments that are up for grabs. You can see up top there, I'm at 90 over 100. So I'm going to get it when I finish the dragon tournament and the dungeon divers right here. That will top me up to 100 and I'll have my Mighty Ukko. But it is worth noting, you know, maybe don't get too excited about summoning your Mighty Ukko right away unless you really need to. I mean, if you really need to, go ahead. If it's going to be account changing right away, go for it. But just keep in mind that you can wait until CVC here in a few days on Tuesday and get some free points to contribute towards CVC by summoning Mighty Ukko then. Or on top of that, you could wait even longer until the next fragment fusion type champion comes around and you could get a lot of free points by summoning Mighty Ukko then. So just keep in mind in the back of your head to maybe hold off and wait to double dip your points if you really care about min-maxing on your account. But if you're excited to go for Mighty Ukko right away, then go for it. I've got a dedicated video right over here covering Mighty Ukko. If you want to see a fully maxed out Mighty Ukko and my full views on building and playing with the champion. So not a whole lot to go over in game. We already talked about CVC and the Dragon Tournament, the champion training. Right there, we already talked about in the Mighty Ukko, the Classic Arena Takedown starting tomorrow is going to be a non-fragment event, so perfectly normal. And then same with your Artifact Enhancement event that's going on right now. It's perfectly normal. There's nothing crazy, but there is Soul Essence here, so you may want to at least get to 6,050. Well, and honestly, if you go that far, yeah, I mean, you do get the Soul Stone and the Essence and the Energy, so if you've got the Silver, go ahead and upgrade your artifacts for sure. It's worth it, even though you're not getting fragments for it, but all of this is mostly par for the course. You do want to keep in mind that you have got the Doom Tower ending in only 5 days. So start doing those secret rooms and making progress. Check your progress missions and do whatever you can before the Doom Tower resets and keep everything kind of rolling. Oh, we do also have the Azure skin going on for Sil. So yeah, Syl is definitely an awesome and popular champion, and now we've got a specialty Azure skin. Now, Plarium always does a great job with the aesthetics on Raid. It's one of the main reasons why Raid is so popular. It doesn't really have much competition right now, is because no one comes even remotely close to competing with the aesthetics that Raid provides. But, you know, do I think a skin is worth $30, even if it's cool? No. Like, for me to buy the skill for Syl, or the skin for Syl, it would probably have to be like $5 to $10, somewhere in there. And then I would go ahead and throw it at the game and have a cool skin. $30 is too steep for me personally to pay for one skin, but you know, some of you like to collect stuff like that, and if it's worth it to you, then by all means, go ahead. I mean, it is a cool skin. I think the best one they've done was probably the Madame Saris ones. Those ones were insanely well done. So they were still a little bit too expensive in my opinion, but that's the best one that I think. Anything worth going over in the shop that is super special? Okay, yeah, we still need to get this added to the offer sheet. What we're kind of thinking for the Mortal Soul Stones is they'll be worth it at about $1 a piece. So $15 for 10 of them. Not really. That's too overpriced in my opinion. And you can tell by the purchase limit of 5 up in the top right that Plarium doesn't think it's that amazing of an offer. If they thought this was an amazing offer, it would be purchase limit of 1. Then the pack string. That is a lot of energy, and this isn't that bad of a... I don't know the whole thing, but it at least looks decent. Yeah. Okay. For high spenders, this special progress pack would probably be decent. I'm not familiar with the whole string on this one, though. And then we already talked about all that. Okay, so, yeah, nothing super noteworthy to go over in the shop today. This is mostly standard stuff. So alrighty, I am going to head on over to stream. I will link down below in the pinned comment if you would like to stop by and say hi. I'm going to finish my Mighty Ukko and get my account rolling as we head into the weekend and hang out with you for a little bit and say hi. So that will hopefully get us caught up on what we need to know as we head into the weekend. And I will see you soon in the next video. As always, thanks for watching. Have a good rest of your day. And remember to subscribe on your way out if you enjoy daily Raid Shadow Legends content. Peace.